The Mariners teamed up with the Falcons for training today. After 6 consecutive wins, they should have had no troubles in breaking through, but the basketballers and posts were proving tough opposition. Both sides play on Saturday, although the Mariners will have to do without Kevin Iro and Robbie Ross. They were injured during the clash against Canberra.
We'll have the blokes to back them up. They're 2 quality players and we'll miss them, but we'll give someone else an opportunity.
Hunter plays Adelaide this weekend and Murray knows it's a must-win game.
I think we've got to make it 4 out of 5. You know, I know it's a tough call, but we put ourselves in a position now. We've got to get ourselves out of it, and 4 out of 5 is not beyond us.
Meantime, a tougher post-mortem for the Newcastle Falcons after their loss to the Melbourne Tigers. Statistics show that in a 19-minute period, the team scored only 9 points.
That's just ludicrous. You can't expect to win too many games with that sort of lacklustre effort, and that's what we're going to address today.
Sean's been saying we've been on a bit of a roller coaster ride. We've got to get off this roller coaster and start going uphill on a consistent basis.
The day was declared a national day of action by protest groups who believe the cuts will mean most working families will face increased childcare fees. From today, the federal government will cease to fund a $20 per child subsidy for children attending community-based childcare centres. The changes will save the government $25 million in the first year. At one Newcastle childcare centre, the cuts translate to a $40,000 hole in its budget.
So our fees have gone up $4 a day already, and they will go up further at the end of the year to cover this cost.
The other concern is that the number and quality of services may be reduced.
Centres are looking at other ways of covering those costs, like lowering the standard of care within their centre. That's basically what it's going to mean. Less qualified staff, less services, less time for parents and for families.
While there's no shortage of places for the 3 to 5 year age group, it's claimed services for the younger and more demanding nursery group will suffer. The New South Wales government supported the protest by claiming the cuts were a direct attack on women and single parents. The government says removal of the operational subsidy does not necessarily mean a compromise in quality, but hopes that centres will be able to work more efficiently. Antonia Kidman, NBN News.
Weekend speedway events at the Motordrome have grown into a Newcastle institution, but after 20 years the man behind the institution, Peter Gerbiel, is leaving.
It's a bit sad, I guess, leaving the industry, or not altogether the industry, but the business that you've built up over 21 years and worked in and put a lot of tears and a lot of hard work into.
The deal was sealed with a handshake. The Motordrome business will now be run by a pair of Sydney businessmen with 60 years collective experience in the speedway game.
Although Peter's done a great job here for 20 years, we believe we can take the place another step up the ladder.
That includes minor upgrading of the track's facilities, including regrassing the centre of the track and creating an atmosphere aimed at attracting families.
We're probably more into presenting a show. The family would come here, mum and dad would sit on the hill, and we're more into entertaining them for 3.5 hours.
The new owners will be initially leasing the Tomago track, but have hinted they will buy the land in the near future. Blake Doyle, NBN News.
perfect weather for a punt. An estimated 3,000 descending on the course for the official start of the carnival, regarded as the premier event on the New South Wales country racing calendar. Among VIPs in attendance, veteran entertainers Smokey Dawson and Bobby Lim, though for many the horses remain the star attraction. And there'll be plenty of those to admire over the coming weeks. 7 meetings concluding on July the 19th, offering $660,000 in prize money. The main event, of course, the $150,000 Grafton Cup, to be run tomorrow week.
There's horses here from as far away as South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales and Queensland, and I think in the Cup there are a couple of New Zealanders too. They're pretty hard to get form on, the New Zealanders. They've all won races over there, but we never know how strong they are until they step out.
But the race everyone came to have a flutter on today, the West Lawn Cup Prelude, the Tamworth-trained Aquazov sent out favourite. Mac and Me paid $2.50 for the win and $1.30 the place, Aquazov $1.30 and Ocean Brigand $3.40. The Quinella $1.80, the Trifecta $33.20. Graham Singleton, NBN News.
It's exactly 4 years since plans for the aluminium dross plant were lodged with Maitland City Council. The development was later moved to Curry, where it's been subject to years of legal wrangling and community protest over health concerns to nearby residents. Last night, Cessnock City Council approved Western Aluminium's building application, giving the go-ahead for the plant.
We're very relieved and happy now we can go ahead and build a plant and create 50 jobs for the area.
The decision has divided council, which was legally bound to OK the project.
The majority of councils took the view that we had no option but to pass the building on the site because it complies with all the conditions.
A development application for stage 2 of the plant, which alloys aluminium to customer requirements, is expected to be lodged with Cessnock Council early next year. Developers aren't expecting any hold-ups.
I hope not, because with the present job situation the way it is with BHP and the mines being closed and laying off a lot of people, I think the situation is getting critical.
Those opposing the dross plant say they've lost faith in the council.
Thoroughly ashamed of council. They're chicken-hearted people, and I'm very, very ashamed to be part of the whole process.
Construction of Western Aluminium's plant here on the Mitchell Avenue site is due to begin on Monday. It could be fewer than 6 months before it's operational. Blake Doyle, NBN News.
Mariners coach Graham Murray walked into today's media conference with his future secure until 2001. The club extended his contract following a successful start to the first half of the Hunters' inaugural season, which has included wins over Canberra and Brisbane.
I think I've got a tough job now, because I certainly don't want to sit on easy street. And I said, the motivation's got to be this weekend.
The way he's blended everyone and just the team spirit and morale, it's probably the best I've ever been with, which is great.
Today's deal throws doubt over who will coach a combined Hunter team if the Knights and Mariners are forced to merge under a compromise plan. Tomorrow the Mariners will be vying for their 7th straight win in their 5 p.m. game against the Adelaide Rams at Torres Stadium. Meanwhile, the Wildfires travel to Sydney tomorrow, buoyed by a good win over West Harbour last weekend, but facing a full-strength Warringah outfit. Newcastle has never beaten the competition leaders, and the team has been hampered by the loss of state under-21 representatives Andrew James and Jared Heaney. Multiple try scorer from last weekend, Nathan Freeze, will replace Heaney as goal kicker as the Wildfires try to get that elusive first win against the Green Rats. Richard O'Leary, NBN News. Falcons and Kings games are known for their fire, and the heat's already been turned up for tomorrow night's clash at the Newcastle Entertainment Centre.
Everyone's going to be out there, putting everything on the line, and it's going to be a few fights. We'll see what happens.
Melmoth, McGregor and Pepper will try to dominate the boards against the smaller Sydney team as the young Falcons try to turn potential into points.
Enough talk. We've really just got to do something. We've got to make something happen, and this is a great time to start. It's really good motivation for us to try and beat Sydney, and also get us on a streak.
The Falcons will be protected from the weather tomorrow night, but the rain has forced some cancellations in other sports. In soccer, the East Maitland game against Wallsend tomorrow is off. 2 Sunday games have also been cancelled. Highfields and Toronto washed out. Just the one cancellation in the Newcastle Rugby League. Maitland's home ground too wet to host Wests on Saturday. All the Sunday games are on. Richard O'Leary, NBN News.
More than 50 young cricketers braved the wintry conditions in Taree today to get a few tips from some cricketing legends. Top Sydney players, including last year's Country Cricketer of the Year, Michael O'Sullivan, were on hand to pass on some of their knowledge. The clinic aims to improve the skills of junior cricket players at a young age.
Coaching is critical. There could be just a small technical fault that once it's picked up and corrected at an early age, it can mean a big difference. There's a difference between probably a handy cricketer and a very good cricketer. So the younger they start to get the right techniques, the better.
Skills included batting techniques, improving bowling actions and catching skills. Even a junior wicket-keeping Ian Healy was on the job defending the Aussie honour. And with cricket season still a few months away, organisers are hoping to get some practice in before summer.
It's a holiday activity. At the same time, cricket will soon be upon us, so it's a chance to hone their skills and perhaps encourage some young new players to take part in the summer months.
Tanya Carlisle, NBN News.
The State Emergency Service, the police, ambulance and fire services were honoured today when Australia Post issued 4 new stamps. Through photographs, the stamps depict the dangerous work these people regularly perform. At the Maitland Post Office, representatives were presented with a certificate of appreciation and a first day cover. Emergency service workers are vital to the area. The State Emergency Service was formed after the devastating Maitland floods back in 1955, and their work after the Newcastle earthquake was instrumental in minimising loss of life and damage to the city. Recognition in this way was a long time coming. Services such as the fire brigade are staffed mainly by volunteers.
Gives a good recognition to the services, and I think all the services do a good job, and it's like a lot of things, when they're needed, we're there.
Increase the awareness of people in the community to what the ambulance service does.
Antonia Kidman, NBN News.
The region's rural banking sector has been savaged in recent years as banks withdraw from the bush. According to Fair Trading Minister Phalo Poe, there have been nearly 30 branch closures, stretching from Bulladila and Gloucester to Marywar.
When the banks leave towns, it fractures the town. It has a domino effect on the town, and I don't think the banks really understand that.
A Bank Forum roadshow rolled into Maitland today, giving customers a chance to air their concerns. The forum is looking at how to replace lost services, including introducing credit unions and bringing banks together under the one roof in the same town. The findings from today's forum will be included in a report to go to the federal government.
And say, you have legislative control over the banks. This is what the consumers are saying. This is how people in rural areas have been severely stung by the banking process, by the closures. Do something about it. You've got the legislative control.
The Department of Fair Trading also wants to pressure banks into setting up a protocol to give customers fair warning on future closures. Blake Doyle, NBN News.
Okay, good to see you both. I'll remember you to Jeanette. Yeah, okay, good. See you later.
So what do you make of the Prime Minister Bob Hawke's endorsement of your mandate?
So I think what arises is the two parties dealing with each other on the basis of the existing law. See, what the unions and the Labor Party will not accept is that the law has changed and that Rio Tinto has a perfect right to exercise the management prerogatives that all other Australian companies exercise.
Thousands of commuters can relate to lengthy delays on the F3, particularly between the Hawkesbury River and Calgary. To reduce the congestion, a multi-million-dollar signalling system is being installed. It'll be more advanced than the existing system on the F6 to Wollongong, as it'll collect speed data from commuters who'll have sensors attached to their vehicles.
They will be sensors that will be linked to a computer system which will be able to identify the traffic movements and speed of traffic, and if there are any accidents or delays, it will pick it up virtually instantly.
The system aims to provide advance warning of traffic, road and weather conditions. One of the main hopes of the new system is that it will reduce accidents. Many collisions occur as cars and trucks reach accident scenes, travelling at 110 kilometres an hour. It's promising to provide up-to-date and accurate information, and it's been welcomed by coast commuters.
It's needed in this area. There are a lot of people up here that commute daily, and people travelling up and down for holidays as well.
Jim Lloyd concedes the system won't resolve all the problems with the freeway. He'd like to see other options to reduce delays considered.
The ultimate aim is to increase local employment and to look at the management of the freeway, to look at the utilisation of the train lines, the possible introduction of high-speed ferries.
Construction is set to start early next year. Jenny Crouch, NBN News. After carrying out several trials, the Central Coast Ambulance Service has opted for the latest communications technology and transferred to the GRN. It's overlooked some early technical hitches in favour of what it says are the overall benefits.
There's been some teething problems, as there is with all systems, but certainly nothing that's compromised our abilities to provide service or anything like that.
The ambulance service has followed the New South Wales Fire Brigade, which has already moved over to the GRN. It also experienced early system failures, but it's now backing the network, saying it's improved communications.
If you haven't got your mates there and you can't communicate directly with them via the radio, it can be really a chaotic situation. You've got a couple of pumpers fighting a fire at one position and you can't arrange for your mates to come and back you up in another position via radio.
The ambulance service says the new system gives them a greater coverage area compared to their previous radio network, and it allows for portable radios where officers can contact their station from emergency scenes.
Now that as the officers go into a house or a building or even to an accident scene, that they'll have communications with them all the time.
Despite fears the system won't be able to cope during a large emergency, the ambulance service claims it compares well to international networks. Jenny Crouch, NBN News.
The Aussie Boomer and Falcon guard enjoyed a relaxed start to Falcon's training today, even taking time out to joke about his poor health.
Things are not good. I mean, you just got to look at my face to realise things aren't too good.
Jensen has been ordered by doctors to sit out for at least 3 weeks due to low iron levels, but he'll still go.
We'll play it by ear. I probably don't think that I'll start. I'll come on and see how long basically I can go and how much wind I've got.
That opens the door for Greg Blake to grab some court time, but coach Sean Dennis knows any chance the team has to reach the playoffs hinge on this weekend.
We do have to win. We have to go away this weekend with the attitude that nothing but 2 wins, anything less than 2 wins I should say, is a failure.
The Falcons beat the Kings in their last game, but questions on the local team's worth has Dennis keen to answer in kind on the court.
It fires me up. It makes me want to say, well, you think that was embarrassing, well, here we come.
Newcastle will complete the away game double in Adelaide against the 36ers.
And in that great finish, Praise Indeed just got there and paid $2.90 and $1.50. Our Mr. Kimman returning $1.70 and $1.80 for Stony Bay, the Quinella $7 and the Trifecta $42.90. Back to race 6 now, the winter handicap over 1,300 metres. 6, 8 and 14, $5.40 and $2.30 for the winner. The Trifecta $1,431.60. Blue Diamond winner Paint returned to the track at Caulfield today, starting red hot favourite over the 1,000 metre Sir John Monash Moondar Stakes, but the champion didn't deliver. Red Hope was the second elect in the betting market and paid $4.40 and $1.70. Del Sol $3.40 and insufficient starters for a third dividend. The Trifecta $128.30. It was crunch time for Newcastle at Manly Oval this afternoon. The Wildfires had predicted an upset over the locals, but champion forward Willie O had other ideas. 5-0, a goal from the sideline extended Manly's advantage before the home side crossed again less than 5 minutes later, Simon Fenn selling Newcastle a dummy for a 14-0 lead. Under immense pressure, the alarm bells were ringing and they sounded even louder where Manly put together 4 phases soon after. It was going to be a busy afternoon for the scorers. Simple backing up and Manly had its 4th. The home side then taking its chances on a quick line-out, good hands and lightning pace combining perfectly for Manly's next 5-pointer, Newcastle embarrassed at 33-0. The Wildfires got on the board through Chris Henderson, but it proved to be an odd moment of joy on a forgettable day for Newcastle. Manly securing second place on the ladder, scoring a ton in the process. Newcastle humiliated and its finals hopes in tatters.
In June 1988, horse trainer Alan Hall was gunned down on his Central Coast property by 2 men. His murder remained unsolved until last year, when 35-year-old Dean Waters contacted police. In a recorded interview with Detective Inspector Dennis O'Toole, Waters describes how he and a friend, Damon Cooper, lay in wait for Alan Hall. "I closed my eyes and I pulled the trigger. I didn't see him hit the ground, but I heard the thud." Dean Waters has pleaded not guilty to the murder of Alan Hall, but guilty to manslaughter on the grounds of diminished responsibility. That plea, however, has not been accepted by the Crown, which claims the killing was premeditated and planned and that Dean Waters' mind was not impaired. Dean Waters claims he killed Alan Hall because his father, Sess Waters, constantly told him to do so. "I guess it was on that day that I surrendered my will to him." Sess Waters died earlier this year from a heart condition. Crown Prosecutor Paul Lynch described him as an evil man who hated Alan Hall because he lived with his former wife, Christine Hicks. According to the Crown, Sess Waters was the architect of a campaign of terror against Alan Hall and Christine Hicks, which saw Hall's house at Gillibee torched. Dean Waters has also pleaded not guilty to lighting the fire. The night Alan Hall was killed, Dean says he was also meant to kill his stepmother but couldn't go through with it. The trial continues tomorrow. Jodie McKay, NBN News.
It was the start of the game that crippled the Knights. A couple of borderline decisions went against the visitors early and the Eels took full advantage.
Yeah, there's some dubious decisions and naturally I'll be speaking to Mick Stone about them, but it's history now and, they didn't win the game, we basically lost it.
28-22, unforced errors and missed one-on-one tackles blamed for the defeat, but instead of honing in on the problems today, Mal really opted for a training session with a difference. The Knights have until Friday to toughen up for their next clash against Wests. The footwork of Andrew Johns again set to play a key role in Newcastle's attack.
Yeah, it's the best kicking game we've had for a long while and that doesn't surprise me. He kicked very well.
A fight of another kind for Hunter today. The Mariners battled the fairways at Belmont. But not before a pep talk from coach Graham Murray. He's far from pleased at the team's efforts against Castleford.
Wasn't happy with the game and neither should be either, and the players aren't happy with themselves, but the bottom line is we won the game and we won it by 30 points.
It's now 7 from 8 for Hunter, but the team's error and completion rates are both considered a problem.
Something we seriously have to look at for next week.